You think the problem is that you're not saying the right thing, not doing enough, not being better in some perfectly calibrated way. But the truth is, you're losing because you're trying to earn what you're supposed to require. You've been trained to believe love is something you prove, that attraction is something you negotiate, that if you just show her how good you are, she'll finally see it, respect it, choose it, stay. And that belief is exactly what turns you into a man she can't fully trust, fully desire, or fully follow, because you're not leading your life. You're auditioning in it. Here's the first truth women don't want you to know, but need you to live. A woman doesn't fall for the man who tries the hardest. She falls for the man who is the hardest to move off his center. Not cold, not cruel, centered. Because centered means you can feel without collapsing. You can care without chasing. You can want her without needing her to validate your worth. Now, if you need reminders like this, if you've ever caught yourself slipping into overthinking, overgiving, overexplaining, subscribe. Not because I need a number, because you need a standard. You need truth on repeat until it becomes your default setting, until your nervous system stops confusing intensity with intimacy and starts recognizing self-respect as the baseline. Here's the thesis, clean and simple. Here's what it really means when you keep doing everything right and still don't get the woman you want. It means your behavior is coming from scarcity, not strength. And women can feel scarcity on you like cologne, no matter how confident you try to sound. Let's climb the reasoning ladder because you don't need another dopamine quote. You need the root. The misconception is that women want you to be perfect. Perfect body, perfect money, perfect words, perfect timing, perfect emotional availability at all times. And if you mess up, if you show an edge, if you disagree, if you hold a boundary, she'll leave. So you become agreeable. You become available. You become safe in the wrong way. You become a man with no edges, no standards, no spine, because you're terrified of losing her. Hard truth, that's exactly when you lose her. Not because women hate kindness, not because women want abuse. Don't twist this into something bitter and stupid. You lose her because you're not being kind. You're being transactional. You're performing nice to buy certainty. That's called covert contracts. That's called approval seeking. That's called living like her mood is your scoreboard. And no woman can fully respect a man who is asking her silently to be his source. Why does it happen? Root cause. Most men are starving for validation and don't even know it. You weren't taught self-worth. You were taught achievement. You weren't taught emotional discipline. You were taught suppression. You weren't taught standards. You were taught to get picked. So when a woman's attention hits you, when she smiles, texts, flirts, touches your arm, it doesn't just feel good. It feels like proof you matter. And that's where you become dangerous to yourself, because now you'll do anything to keep the proof coming. You start analyzing her replies like stock market charts. You start rewriting messages. You start forgiving disrespect because she's stressed. You start paying emotional taxes just to access her presence. You call it love. It's not love. It's dependence wearing a suit. And what does it cost you? It costs you your masculinity. Not the fake loud kind, not the internet costume, the real kind, the grounded kind, the kind built on self-command. It costs you your peace because your emotional state becomes reactive. When she's warm, you're up. When she's cold, you're spiraling. When she's uncertain, you become a detective. When she's distant, you become a poet. It costs you your purpose because instead of building your life, you orbit hers. You cancel plans. You stop training. You stop sleeping. You stop focusing. You stop taking risks because you're trying to be available. You stop. You stop being a man with a mission. You stop saying what you mean. You stop protecting your time. You stop requiring effort. You stop requiring respect. And you wonder why she starts treating you like an option. Here's the reframe that will change your life if you can handle it. Women don't want a man they can control. They want a man they can trust. And trust is built on consistency, boundaries, and self-respect, not on you trying to please her into staying. Let me say it sharper. A woman doesn't relax into you when you chase her. She relaxes into you when she feels you're solid, when you don't wobble, perform, or plead for her approval, Because here's a truth that's uncomfortable. Attraction is not built by your intentions. It's built by your frame. Your frame is what you tolerate. Your frame is what you prioritize. Your frame is the standards you live by when you're tired, horny, lonely, and emotionally triggered. Your frame is whether you can say no without needing to punish her, whether you can say yes without abandoning yourself, whether you can walk away without a speech. That's called emotional leadership. And emotional leadership is what many women are craving, even when they act like they don't need it. Now, second truth. Women don't want you to know, but need you to embody. A lot of women will test you, not because they're evil, not because they want drama, but because they're trying to feel where you end and where they begin. They're asking, without saying it, is this man real? Is he stable? Is he congruent? Or is he just saying whatever works? And if you fail that test, you don't fail because you weren't nice enough. You fail because you weren't you enough. Because you negotiated with your own values. Because you said you were busy, then dropped everything the second she snapped her fingers. Because you said you wanted something serious, then accepted casual treatment. Because you said you respected yourself, then tolerated disrespect with a smile. That's called self-betrayal. And women can't build respect on top of your self-betrayal. They can only build comfort. And comfort without respect turns into contempt. Now let's talk about the thing you don't want to hear. Some women don't want you to know that you're allowed to leave. Because as long as you think you have to win her, she has leverage. As long as you think love is something you earn, you'll accept crumbs. As long as you think your job is to prove your value, you'll stay in situations that are draining you. But a man with self-respect doesn't negotiate for basic effort. He doesn't explain why honesty matters. He doesn't beg for communication. He doesn't accept confusion as a relationship status. And he doesn't turn himself into an emotional service provider for a woman who hasn't earned his investment. That's not game playing. That's sanity. Because here's the real truth. A woman's feelings are real, but they are not your instructions. Read that again. Her emotions are valid. They are not commands. If she's upset, you can listen, you can care, you can lead the conversation with calm strength, but you don't collapse, you don't grovel, you don't start bargaining your standards to buy peace. Because peace bought with self-abandonment is not peace. It's a pause before the next crisis. Now I'm going to give you an archetype because you need an image to step into. You need to know what this looks like in the real world. There's a man, quiet power, not loud, not trying to prove he's alpha. He doesn't post about being a king, he just moves like one. He wakes up with a plan. He trains even when he doesn't feel like it. He handles his money like a grown man, not a gambler. He builds skills. He builds relationships with men who sharpen him. He builds a life that doesn't depend on one woman's mood. When he dates, he's present. He's attentive, he's warm, but he's not available on demand. He texts back, but he doesn't live in his phone. He listens, but he doesn't get hypnotized. He gives, but he doesn't overgive. He compliments her, but he doesn't pedestal her. He makes space for her emotions, but he doesn't accept disrespect inside that space. And when she tests him, when she pulls away, when she gets sharp, when she tries to see if he'll bend, he doesn't punish her and he doesn't perform for her. He stays calm. He stays clear. He stays honest. He says, I'm not doing that. And if it continues, he removes himself. No rage, no essays, no, you'll regret this, just consequence. That's called boundaries. That's called self-respect. That's called being a man who can love without losing himself. Now let's get actionable because inspiration without execution is just mental entertainment. Do this. Build your life so full that a woman has to add value to be in it, not just take space. Stop this. Stop treating attention like affection. Attention is easy. Affection requires consistency. Commitment requires character. Redirect this. Redirect your energy from convincing her to choosing her. There's a difference. Convincing is you chasing. Choosing is you evaluating. Do this. State what you want early, calmly, and without apology. Not as a demand, as a filter. You're not trying to force a woman into your frame. You're trying to find the woman who fits it. Stop this. Stop tolerating mixed signals. Mixed signals mean no, with extra steps. Redirect this. Redirect your mind from how do I get her to is she respectful? Is she consistent? Is she emotionally mature? Does she bring peace or chaos? Does she take responsibility or always have an excuse? Do this. If she crosses a line, address it once. Direct, calm, specific. Then watch what happens next. Not what she says, what she does. Stop this. Stop arguing your worth. If you have to convince someone to value you, you're already losing your time. Redirect this. Redirect your self-esteem away from female approval and into male discipline. Your confidence should come from the promises you keep to yourself. Training, work, integrity, health, growth. Because here's another truth women don't want you to know, but need you to live. The moment you stop needing her, you become capable of loving her properly. Needing is pressure. Needing is control in disguise. Needing is fear with a smile. A woman can feel it. She might even enjoy it at first, because being needed can feel powerful, but it becomes heavy, and then she resents you for the weight you put on her, even if she never admits it. So you stop needing, not by becoming numb, by becoming whole. You become the source. You become the man who can stand alone, which is exactly why he can stand beside someone without grabbing. Now let's address the part that might trigger you. But what about women? What about what they do wrong? Here's your problem. You're looking for permission to stay a victim. Yes, some women manipulate, some women are immature, some women crave attention more than intimacy, some women will take advantage of a man with weak boundaries, some women will punish you for being honest because it disrupts their comfort, and that doesn't change your job. Your job is to choose better, lead yourself, and walk away when it's wrong, because a man who blames women becomes bitter. And a bitter man is easy to control by anger, by ego, by loneliness. So don't become bitter. Become sharper, become more discerning, become the man who can say, I see what this is, and exit early before the damage. That's called emotional intelligence. That's called selection. That's called not confusing desire with destiny. You want the real secret? The thing women don't want you to know because it removes your confusion? It's this. You don't get the relationship you want by chasing the woman you want. You get the relationship you want by becoming the man who only entertains what aligns. And alignment isn't a vibe. Alignment is behavior over time. Consistency, respect, effort, accountability, mutual investment. If you don't have that, you don't have a relationship. You have a story you're trying to force into reality. So let me ask you the question that ends the fantasy. How many more times are you going to trade your dignity for a maybe? How many more nights are you going to stare at a phone, waiting for a message that determines your mood? How many more mornings are you going to wake up and feel behind in your own life because you spent your energy managing someone else's uncertainty? How many more times are you going to say, she's just like this, when what you mean is, I'm scared to leave? Because that's what this is. Fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of starting over. Fear that this is as good as it gets. And that fear is exactly why you must change. Not to win women, to reclaim yourself. Because the goal isn't to become a man women can't resist. The goal is to become a man who resists what would destroy him. A man who can love deeply, but not blindly. A man who can be soft with the right woman and firm with the wrong one. A man who can commit, but never at the cost of his core. Now listen to me closely, because this is the identity reset. You are not a beggar for love. You are not an applicant for respect. You are not a performer for validation. You are a man with standards. You are a man with direction. You are a man who chooses. You are the answer, not her text, not her mood, not her approval, not her uncertainty. You. When you become solid, you stop chasing signals and start requiring substance. You stop living in fantasy and start living in reality. You stop trying to be chosen and start choosing. And the right woman, an emotionally mature woman, won't be threatened by that. She'll feel safe in it. She'll respect it. She'll meet it. And the wrong woman will call it cold, controlling, emotionally unavailable because she can't access you through your guilt anymore. Let her say it. Your job isn't to be understood by everyone. Your job is to be respectable to yourself. So if you want more truth like this, more clarity, more standards, more reality that actually improves your life, subscribe. Again, not for me, for you. for the days you feel weak, for the nights you miss someone who wasn't good for you, for the moments you're tempted to negotiate your dignity just to feel chosen. You're not alone. You're with men who are done being led by impulse and ready to be led by principle. Men who don't hate women, don't chase women, don't fear women, men who respect themselves. Welcome to that side. Stay here. Build here. We've got work to do.